What's good in the hood, YouTube? This is Crazy Samurai 71 here bringing another video. Today I'm bringing you a video on more information regarding Power Rangers Ninja Steel and also the Power Rangers movie that's coming out. New information was given from Toy Fair 2017 that's happening now about a lot of stuff that's going on. Ton of stuff, and I have a lot of images and a lot of stuff I want to go over with you guys because a lot of it's good and a lot of it's really either bad or weird, or I'm just really annoyed. Let's just say that much. There's a whole mixture of reactions I have about a lot of this stuff, so I kind of want to go through a lot of it and give you some input. So for starters, I'm gonna go through it talking about one of the things that I for a long time wasn't sure if I was going to be a fan of, and I'm going to start with the movie stuff first, just so that we're clear. Yeah, movie stuff first, because that's a little bit easier to talk about, because the Legacy, oh yeah, I forgot Legacy as well. I'm going to be talking about that as well. So, movie stuff. They, a while ago, showed off the Red Ranger helmet that they were going to be doing, a Legacy Red Ranger helmet based off of the movie edition. At first, the look basically looked like the FX masks that you might have bought in the stores, which you press a button and then they'll have a sound that relates to the movie in some way, depending on which Ranger you're pressing the button for. So this is the same idea with the Red Ranger. It looked like it, but when we actually got to see it from a side view, it made all the difference because it actually looks decent. It's not great, doesn't have, you know, anywhere near as much detail as say the movie helmet does, but it's still not bad. You know, it's okay, I guess you could say. And so that is something. As far as other things go with the movie, they did show that they did show off the putty figures, which they look a little less like hulking, kind of like angry fisted set up as they were initially when we saw them, and that's fine. And they did show off the Rita figure as well with it, so that is good to note. Additionally, they did show off that they're doing a Legacy, not a Legacy, a mask of the Megazord. So you'll have all 5 Rangers plus a mask of the Megazord, which apparently, unlike the FX masks that I'm referring to, those you have to press a button to turn on the sound. This one's motion activated. So I don't know exactly what that means when they say motion activated, whether that means when you're wearing it, when you do a certain motion, if that happens, because if that's going to happen, it's going to be a really terrible thing, because it's just like it will constantly activate. So I don't really know how that's going to work, because I kind of feel like that's going to be a really weird situation. But that could be okay. I don't know anything for a fact. They also did show off more images of the Goldar gigantic figure, which is good. And also they showed off the Legacy coins, which do have actually really good detail. I remember seeing an image. I'm not sure if I'll have the image in my up here, but you know, I do remember seeing a decent image of what like the blue Ranger coin looks like, which I was actually pretty happy with. I thought that was great to see, and I thought it looked pretty nice. And they're also going to be doing some sort of movie, like micro movie capsule figs, which are blind bag. Personally, my opinion, blind bag, it's good in some ways, but it's bad in other ways. It's good because there's that mystery element, but it's bad in other ways because, first of all, we're only talking about like 5 Rangers here, and that's the number of figures that they actually have in here. 5 characters. What that means is the chances of you getting all 5 Rangers, you have to get a lot. Because the chances of, because like you can't just buy 5 and expect to get it, and also I'm not sure, I don't know how much they're going to charge for them. You know, if you're you know, there are certain sets of those where they can go for $10-15, and then in those kind of cases it's like you kind of want to know what you're getting. If it's anything like that, then like that's ridiculous. You know, if they're like $5 or maybe $3 would be really good, and that would be okay. But you know, if they go any further above that, then I really question their logic. But that is interesting to note. They're just basically, they have them in like different poses on top of rock formations, which is cool, and that's a nice added bit to them. And they have like a nice silvery texture to them, which is good. Other than that, everything looks pretty nice. There isn't anything in particular that I would say makes me feel any bad feelings towards the movie figs, at least now. Also, there was confirmation, which was good stuff, regarding the movie, which is that they explained the whole logistics behind why certain characters, not characters, the Zords looked a certain, why the Zords paint jobs aren't the best, you know. And the reason for that was because what they ended up doing was that Lionsgate gave them early concept art, and they went into motion right away rather than waiting till stuff got revealed. So because of that, the quality isn't as good. And look, I'm not saying that I am, you know, defending them or anything, but I totally understand that, and I think that's a fair point in mind, because, you know, sometimes they get things early, sometimes they get things right when it's coming out, so it's kind of hard to really tell what they're getting when. So I totally understand what their struggle must have been in that sense, and that also is good in some ways for a future movie, because, you know, if they choose to re-release these in some other form, they could learn from what they did the first time and see what they can do to improve the actual looks of these figures for the like the Megazords for the future, because that's probably what it was, and that makes me happier. You know, it doesn't necessarily say like, oh, it's gonna be perfect in the future, but that does make me feel like if they decide to do a re-release that's done differently, it might turn out a lot better. I just don't know anything for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if they choose to do a re-release in the future, if they do a sequel and they change up the look and make it look a lot nicer. But that is something to note. As far as legacy figures go, and I might as well go there before I jump into anything else, legacy stuff, for starters, there was confirmation, and by the way, MMPRtoys Bruno, he ended up going to Bandai America's, location or whatever, and I don't know, the headquarters, and he got to speak to them and got to see things early. So that's why there's like actual video coverage from him that a lot of people kind of have been following off of. And for starters, yes, Legacy Ninja coins are confirmed, all three. Most likely, obviously, these are going to probably go into the standard Legacy Morpher, which is great. So if you want to have that, that's awesome, and that can accompany your Dino coins as well. So that's great. As far as other legacy stuff goes, I also wanted to mention before that they also are creating paperweights of the different Ranger helmets, gigantic coins, and even the Megazord head, which is pretty cool. But as far as legacy figures go, they showed off all 6 legacy figures for Zeo. In nice high quality detail, and they look awesome. I actually really like them. I think gold looks amazing. I'm really happy to see his staff and the quality that it's being done in it. It looks great. You also see the Zeo Megazord as well, which is great. But they also showed off something that raises a lot of questions and a lot of upset for a lot of people, and that is regarding the Mighty Morphin. And that is regarding weapons for these figures. So they are releasing the weapons for the Mighty Morphin figures, but unfortunately, the way that they're choosing to do it this time, the way they're going to choose to do it for legacy figures in general, well, for Mighty Morphin, what they're doing is they're going to create a separate wave release that will have metallic versions of the standard figures. So they just have like a sparkly shine or whatever, and they will come with their individual weapons, which is fine. You know, it's not great by any means, but you know, it's something, and that could be okay, I guess. I'm not really that big of a fan of that at all, because what that means is, and they've basically said this now, what they're going to start doing is they're going to have certain waves where they're going to do legacy figures with weapons, and certain waves where they're going to do legacy figures with their Build-A-Figure Megazords. So yeah, it's going to be either one or the other. Now, one thing that they said that they still are willing to do, possibly if people really want it, is to do a separate legacy Build-A-Figure Megazord for those as a separate thing, and then have the 5 Ranger figures with their weapons. They said that could be a possibility, but they haven't. But as of now, they're going with this whole entire idea of having certain waves have weapons, certain waves don't have weapons, and the waves that don't have weapons have build a Megazord. So it's not great. That's really not the best solution in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, that they did that. I hope that they go the way of having it as a separate figure and releasing it similar to like they did in Power Morphicon, where they ended up releasing the limited edition black and gold Megazord Legacy Build-A-Figure Megazord that they did there. Hopefully they do something like that and they create a separate packaging for that, because that would be much better. The other thing that they confirmed is that as far as their solution otherwise regarding the female figures, because that's been a big issue for a while, is that they're going to start doing 2 separate waves. So they're going to split the wave in half. They're going to do like half of the wave at one point, and then directly after that the next wave the other half will follow, and eventually they'll just be showing up at the same time, more or less. So, but it's just that certain ones will be there on shelves earlier than other ones, but in the end they'll all be there, which is good. But what they also explained is that they are going to decrease the amount of female figures that they're going to be releasing, since less people are buying them. So that doesn't mean that necessarily it will be impossible to find a female figure, but it means that there'll be less of them. So it's not like you'll be having 500 stock warmers up there that are just going to be sitting there for months and months and months, never being sold, or at least not as many. So that's fine, and that's good to note. And it'll be interesting to see how that will work out. And that that makes sense. I'm not sure if that's going to guarantee that they're still going to all get off the shelves, but I'm sure that will help in some ways and reduce the amount that will be in stock. As far as other things go, there's not much else regarding the legacy figures that I can think of. Oh yeah, the Power Sword. The Power Sword apparently is going to cost $150. Yeah, but apparently it's going to be very, very high quality, super long, which is crazy, and is something that a kid would not want to pick up, because it could easily break and it's very fragile. So, but it's apparently flimsy, which I don't know why that's good, but it sounds interesting. So yeah, it could be a good cosplay item, but we'll see what happens. I don't know anything for a fact, but yeah. They also kind of confirmed that the Shogun Megazord the Legacy Shogun Megazord should be coming eventually, so that's good to note. They are promising that that's going to happen at some point soon. They didn't really say it, but they basically hinted at it, because they still have the Ninja Megazord there, and pretty much everyone kind of assumed at that point that yeah, that's what's going on. So then we come to the part that there's a lot of things to talk about. Okay, the Power Rangers Ninja Steel toy situation. All right. So for starters, the big topic, and actually I have an additional point that I forgot to mention at the very end that I'm going to say. Additional point to mention, yeah, okay. For starters, the Burger Morpher situation. No Burger Morpher, no Guitar Morpher, which is what they should have fallen back to. No, what they're doing is a recoloring of the standard Ninja Steel Morpher with a gold look to it and like an extra bit. But overall, it's basically the exact same thing, just a recoloring, and there hasn't been and recolorings haven't happened really, and it's not good. I really was annoyed that they did that, because it's kind of lame, and it's like, is it just that it's gonna be an updated version? Is there anything special about it? Probably, other than just the color. That's about it. I mean, the last time they did it that way, you could say would be Mystic Force, sort of, since they had like all the different colorations of that Morpher, but that was so long ago, and that really wasn't in the show the same way, so I wouldn't count that. And also because Mungie Shine, I'm trying to remember the Solaris Knight or whatever didn't have it that way. That's like he had the lamp or whatever, so they kept things still pretty similar. That's why I kind of find it weird that they're doing things the way they are with this, and I really find it strange that they chose a repaint. I don't know what your guys' opinions are about that, but personally, in my opinion, I hate it. I hate it so much, because I think it's a lame excuse for them to not do something they could have done. I totally get Burger Morpher, why it didn't happen, but I think that, and personally, I'm glad that they didn't do that, but I really think that they should have done the guitar as the Morpher. But they are doing the guitar, but they're doing it in the worst way possible. And why do I say that? They're making it a dart weapon. Yeah, the end is gonna be like, have like a hole in it, where, like the end of the guitar. So not like the body, but the neck, the top part of the neck is gonna have a hole where you can feed darts into and shoot them out. I really am upset that they did that, because that's just kind of lame, and that kind of devalues that weapon, because that was such a cool weapon in the show, and yet they're doing that. I don't get it. I don't get that. Why? It's not even a gun. It's not meant to work that way exactly. Ugh, I don't know. They could have done some sound effects or something. That's what they chose to do. I'm not a fan. I mean, it might have sound effects with the bullets, but I just find it stupid, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, though, but that's what I'm saying. As far as other things go, good news, they are doing training figures of them. So the in training figure, like in training mode suits that they've shown off already, they are going to have masks and everything, and they are going to have figure releases of all 6 of them, and that's great. And yeah, gold is coming. They are going to do a gold training set. They also showed off Datacom. Datacoms will be releasing, and it sounded promising. The only problem is that it's a $17 price mark, which is similar to the Ninja training tools, which those were priced at the same price, and those don't sell. So I kind of feel like they're going to be really cheapy and kind of bad. Maybe they'll surprise us, but I personally am not expecting anything that high quality if they're going for that kind of pricing. And yeah, could also just because of the size and how much content really is functioning in it. The other thing that was shown off was the Ninja Master Red, well, not the Ninja Master Red, the what do you call it, the Ninja Master Blade, which does have a pull action, which allows you to pull it like a chain, and then it makes the sound of a chainsaw. That actually is kind of cool, I guess, and it actually does make the sound effects of a chainsaw. I like that. One thing I forgot to mention regarding the movie, they mentioned that they are doing a command center set in the future, which sounded awesome, because they are going to have some sort of situation where it's going to have a lenticular ability, where if you view it from different sides, it will actually look like Zordon is talking to you, and it will come with smaller figures than the 5-inch ones, but still like reasonably sized figures with that playset and Alpha 5. That's pretty cool, and it's coming out later. I don't know if it's coming out later this year or spring of next year, but apparently they're still gonna be releasing stuff all the way through up to that point, if the movie does well, which hopefully it will. If it doesn't do well, then we'll see what does release, but apparently they're looking to get that at a $50 price mark, which sounds pretty amazing if that really is the case, because that sounds really cheap, but I don't really know what that means. I don't want to assume anything. But anyway, going back to Ninja Steel, they also did show off that they are doing Madame Odious and a few other figures that people were very, very happy about, and I am happy to see them, so that is great to note. As far as the main villain goes, oh yeah, and they also showed off some of the other figures, like the one Spinferno, and the one from the first episode, I think, or the second one, no, the third one, I think it was. I'm forgetting its name right now. Skull Raptor, like the Skull Raptor or whatever it was. I don't really remember his name, but they are doing a figure of him. As far as Galvanox goes, they said that they're not sure. They're not sure if they can really do it due to his that he's kind of like the hard one that might happen, but it's the most debated one due to the, and I personally expect that makes most sense, because he has a ton of detail and he's a big figure. He's not a tiny figure. He's not a nothing figure. He has a lot of detail. Sledge was like the lead villain, but he doesn't have like crazy detail. Galvanox has crazy detail, so that is a big deal. But they did also show off probably one of the best auxiliary Zords, which is great. The UFO, like UFOs, auxiliary Zord. But unfortunately, what they confirmed is that the auxiliary Zords are always going to be, repaints of the standard Megazords. So you can't get individual ones, and that really is annoying, and I really hate that, and I think that everyone's going to hate that, and it's going to really be an interesting thing to see who's going to buy those, really. Because in my opinion, I don't want it. But we'll see. Sorry about that. Needed to tell someone something. But yeah, no. Anyway, we'll see what happens. They also showed off the Bullzord and the Gold Ranger figure with that, which looked cool. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that they showed off all 5 Legacy Dino Thunder figures, which look awesome. All 5. So yes, you can. There is red, blue, yellow, black, and white, which is awesome. And they look good. They actually look really good, and I'm tempted by the white, but really all of them. I mean, I'm really happy in general. I'm trying to think what else there was that I remember hearing that, oh yeah, the last thing was the Lion Fire Fortress sword, which is the big hulking final mech for the season, which has already been shown off, or for the series really. I mean, what they showed off in it, it's pretty insane. It's gonna have a fortress mode, it's gonna have a, and it's gonna be 20 feet tall. Like, if you put it in Megazord mode, it's 20 feet tall, and not 20 feet, whoa, hold on, not 20 feet, what am I saying? 20 inches, whew, not 20 feet, 20 inches tall, and it's gonna be, it's gonna have two different modes. It's gonna have like the lion mode, it's gonna have the opened up mode, it's gonna be able to fit the Ninja Megazord, it's gonna be able to do a bunch of different things. It's gonna be able to fit the individual figures, it can fit them in the mouth or open up. You know, it's gonna have really 3 modes in a week. It's gonna have the closed, the opened, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very, very, very interesting. So I'm gonna be very interested to see how that looks in the end. As far as other things go, I don't know. There's not much else I can think of. Oh yeah, no, wait. Oh yeah, the ninja started. So they showed off a whole wall of them. Let's just say this much right now. They showed off the Jiraiya star and also the Kamen Rider Drive Ninja Star, but like repainted and redesigned. Doesn't mean that it's gonna happen, but it could. And I'm not saying that it will, because it probably won't, because you have to remember they did make the Die Ranger keys back during Super Mega Force. But if you don't know, obviously those never came out. We saw them, we definitely saw them, but they never released. So more likely than not, unless they're gonna repurpose them, I don't see any reason why they're gonna ever like show up in the show, and most likely they'll just be there for, you know, concept art that they probably found at certain points when they were going through things and trying to make samples so that they can impress people when they go to the show. But those of us who are fans of the Japanese show will look at this and say like, hey, I see that, what are you doing? And we'll note it. But yeah, so that's about it. It's a lot of stuff, obviously. You know, I didn't expect this much stuff to really be revealed at this convention, but apparently there is a lot, and I am going to be, and I'll just say this for sure right now, Legacy figures are going to be interesting. The movie stuff sounds pretty interesting. The command center really is tempting me. There's a bunch of stuff that's really tempting, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm really annoyed about. I am very, very, very curious to see what's going to happen. I don't know anything for sure. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. It will be unveiled over time, I am sure. More details. The third wave of Legacy figures is starting to show up in stores. So I'm talking about the White Ranger, the Yellow Ranger, the in-space Black, Blue, and Pink. Should be showing up in stores fairly soon. It's already gotten pre-orders up. The Legacy movie figures have started showing up. I haven't seen them yet, but apparently they are around, so I'm trying to kind of look around, but at the same time, if I don't get to them, I'm fine with it, because personally I'm more so interested in the regular Legacy figures, which I've gotten all of them so far. So we'll see what happens. Until then, guys, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, to what you guys think. Are you guys interested in any of this stuff? What are your guys' thoughts? Oh yeah, forgot one last thing. Last thing. Q Ranger supposedly will be next. Kind of important. Supposedly what we found out was that the cubes are not sounding like they're very easy to use as far as how they can purpose them into the series. So because of the cube issue, it sounds like Q Ranger is pretty likely. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen, but it sounds like it is. It sounds like the chances of Q Ranger are much higher. So we'll see what happens. So until then, guys, I'm Crazy Samurai 71, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, guys, goodbye.